Ferrari chief Frederick Vasseur says he'll be having a private discussion with F1 and its Las Vegas stakeholders to recover costs for the damage sustained to Carlos Sainz's car during opening practice. Just 9 minutes into the session, the Spaniard hit a broken water valve cover along Las Vegas Boulevard, which wrecked his chassis, power unit, and energy store, and meant that he started 12th after the stewards were forced to apply a 10-place grid drop for the race. We have a lot of consequences on the financial side, on the sporting side, and even on the stock of spare parts. And on the budget side, for sure, it's not an easy one, he said. The Scuderia has since flown a new chassis to Abu Dhabi. Alpine's Esteban Ocon also damaged his chassis. The Las Vegas Grand Prix may have been a blockbuster, but F1 and its stakeholders are facing a class action lawsuit from fans who saw just 9 minutes of practice on Thursday. Sainz and Ocon's damage meant FP1 was red flagged so that all water valve covers could be checked. But this took so long that second practice was delayed by 150 minutes and held behind closed doors due to local labor laws for security and logistics staff. The lawsuit against Las Vegas Grand Prix and its owner Liberty Media has been filed in Nevada State Court by local firm Demopolis and its co-counsel JK Legal and Consulting, with at least $30,000 sought in damages. F1 offered a $200 discount credit to fans with a Thursday-only ticket for merchandise at its online store, though no apologies. American icon Mario Andretti has hailed three-time Formula One world champion Max Verstappen's spirit behind the wheel, with the 83-year-old in awe of the Red Bull driver's razor-sharp racecraft. 2023 marks 45 years since Andretti lifted the crown for Colin Chapman's Lotus team, but he remains a student of the sport and told F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid why Verstappen impresses him.
He just, under any circumstance, he'll just go out no matter what. We watched like Singapore. He fought to the end, with what he had and so forth. That's his spirit. And he learned something even from that, and he put it to the good for the following race and so on and so forth. But the spirit is there, confidence, super confidence.
Mercedes boss Toto Wolff hopes the spectacular racing seen during this year's Las Vegas Grand Prix will help F1 to establish itself within the city's already stacked events ecosystem. Las Vegas is currently on a 3-year deal to host F1, but it's hoped that the sport will see out a decade, despite local residents up in arms about road and attraction closures. Wolff, though, says it's up to the sport now to provide the value.
In a way, our sport is very honest. The stopwatch never lies. And entertainment follows. If we provide great racing, per the regulations, it's also going to be entertaining. And being able to do this in the middle of Las Vegas on the Strip was unthinkable many years ago. And I think hopefully we become a fixture among the big events that happen every year in Las Vegas, and we provide great racing.
Ferrari's Carlos Sainz may have had a torrid weekend on track in Las Vegas, but he was unstoppable off it, with the Spaniard lifting the inaugural Netflix Cup with PGA pro Justin Thomas. F1's young guns headed to Wynn Golf Club ahead of the race weekend and were paired up with PGA Top Guns for a light-hearted competition that included racing golf carts to the green. Sainz and Thomas defeated McLaren's Lando Norris and Ricky Fowler to meet Alpine driver Pierre Gasly and Tony Finau in the final, after they beat Williams' Alex Albon and Max Homa. But Sainz and Thomas came through for the trophy, following a closest to the pin challenge on the playoff hole, with the American impressed by the sport's arrival in Las Vegas.
It's very fitting to have something like this here. It's a huge market, and they got a lot of I guess you could say passionate sports fans, whether they're in town or traveling here. But so I think it'll be a great success for them.
AlphaTauri won in Las Vegas last weekend, but only when Red Bull took its two teams off-road for a hovercraft race in the nearby Nevada desert ahead of the actual Grand Prix. The brand went next level with its unserious race series this year, which saw its squads Red Bull and AlphaTauri go head-to-head in mini-boats, monster trucks, Japanese K-trucks, and hovercrafts, with a makeshift course laid out in the desert, along which the drivers in their teams took on challenges, including a rescue mission, crop circles to max out on donuts, and the race. With AlphaTauri coming through for the win, though Daniel Ricciardo was just happy to be out and about with his pals.
Thank you. Just to be out here in the desert in an environment where we're all just having a laugh. It's cool. There's always that little bit of competition, but I mean, these are probably the best work days we can get.
Red Bull's Sergio Perez, however, was happier to return to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I end up eating a lot of sand, so I don't need lunch for today.
Aston Martin went big with its marketing presence in Las Vegas, with the luxury automaker running its latest 90-second campaign on the Sphere. The British marque lit up Las Vegas with a glamorous show, showcasing the Scarab Beetle, from which Aston Martin gets its wings, its F1 car, and latest offerings in the DBX 707 and DB12.
What we've seen on the Sphere last night is surely a world's first and probably the largest display on digital media of a very sophisticated car advertisement. It showcases the Aston Martin brand and products on a scale that has never been seen before.
The squad also announced it had sold a minority shareholding to private equity firm Arctos Partners, a sports investment specialist, with the buy-in valuing the team at $1 billion. Sir Lewis Hamilton has defended his fashion style, with the Brit stating he doesn't like wearing the same things as other people. The seven-time F1 world champion, who raced his Silver Arrows teammate George Russell in identical Mercedes AMG GT coupes at a lit-up Speed Vegas track pre-event, has been criticized for bold choices. But Hamilton says style is something he's been working on.
Well, one thing I really do not like is wearing the same thing as other people, and I think really it took a long time for me to really discover who I wanted to be and how I wanted to express myself. And as a kid, I was always heavily influenced by hip-hop, and you know, Pharrell was like he was the one for me, still is today.
Las Vegas Grand Prix CEO Renee Vilm has opened up on the challenge of finalizing the iconic street tracks layout, with the 6.2-kilometer design changing quite a few times from the original. Red Bull's Max Verstappen won the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix last weekend, with 315,000 people attending the event. But Vilm told official podcast F1 Nation that only the backdrop was decided on when organizers began to plan the event.
This track was not the original layout. The key was to be able to race down the strip with the iconic Vegas Strip landscape behind the drivers. But exactly where the track would weave from there changed quite a few times. We needed to find a location that allowed us to establish the pit building and the garages in the grid. And that required Liberty Media to purchase the 39 acres of land. And then the rest really got built around it.
Andretti made its bid for a slot on the grid bulletproof last week, following news its partner General Motors has registered to become an F1 power unit supplier from 2028. Andretti is currently locked in commercial discussions with Formula One management after the FIA approved its application for an 11th grid slot. But gaining F1 approval seemed like an uphill battle, with the existing 10 teams up in arms over the income split. And the American squad originally penciled in to run a Renault power unit that would be rebadged as GM brand Cadillac. But the tide will be turned by GM's registration, with the behemoth set to become F1's 7th power unit supplier from 2028, after Red Bull, Ford, Ferrari, Honda, Mercedes, Alpine, Renault, and Audi. And Andretti boss Michael Andretti was outspoken on the move. Our commitment to excellence will not be taken lightly as we continue planning to enter F1 as soon as possible. And in 2028, Andretti Cadillac will compete as a true American works team, he wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.